Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at everything that comes with the Merchant's Cove, which is this big box here. And then we have all of the expansions, the Oracle, the Dragon Rancher, the Innkeeper, and the Secret Stash. Going to do a quick unboxing of those in this, just to do them all at once. And then we're going to do full reviews of the game itself. And then I'm going to do a video for each of the individual characters to help you see how they play, and tons of stuff to go through, lots of stuff to punch out, assemble, and all that. So we're going to get right in with the main Merchant's Cove. So here we have our Merchant's Cove. This is a hefty box. It actually weighs quite a bit. Pretty good size too. And this contains 4 characters as well as the base game. And Merchant's Cove is a pretty interesting game. And like I said, I'm going to do a full review of it here soon. And just wanted to show you all the stuff that comes inside here first. So already it sticks up above, so the lid doesn't shut all the way because it's got these lifters in here. And that's because we got this giant package, sorry for crinkly paper. And this looks like all of our punch boards. I hate crinkly paper. So these are our various merchant boards for where you get townsfolk. You hire them to be your employees at your shop. I'm going to punch all this out as I go and then try to figure out how to put it all back when I'm done. So there's those. We have our actual character rulebooks. So the game comes with a full rulebook, and then there's a character specific rulebook for each of the 4 characters that come in the base game here. And these are pretty small. They're like 1 page in the middle here, and then the back to teach you how to play each character, because each character plays completely different. There's a 5th book here for the Peddler, and this is an NPC basically to play against in a solo mode. And we have these. These are actually really cool, and a lot of people seem to have missed these in their unboxings or whatever, but these actually tell you exactly what to put in each of the trays, because the game comes with a pretty nice insert, and tells you exactly what to put in each one, and gives you pictures so you can actually see what to put where. So those are kind of cool. This looks like the game board itself, which is rather large. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get this on camera. How does this unfold? I did not know it has a map on the back, which is kind of neat. Because all of the games this company makes are all set in the same world. I'm trying to angle it so I can get that on camera here, but yeah, there's actually a map on the back showing where Merchant's Cove is over here. And then on the front side, I can just get it in screen here, is our game board. You have your clock down here, the different guild halls here. This is where the villagers go, and the boats would be out in the bay there. And there's a points counter track around the outside. So we'll go over that a little bit more, obviously, in the review, but next thing we have here is the player boards. They have icons on the back. There's artwork in there too, that I didn't notice. It's kind of cool. And then this one is for the Chronomancer. This one is for the Blacksmith. This one is for the Captain. I didn't realize these are recessed too, so they're actually like double layer boards. Did not know that. It's kind of like a linen finish on it too. I don't know if I can get that on camera. But yeah, there's a linen finish on them. Captains. And then the Alchemist. This one I knew was dual layer because I know there's little divots in here for the marbles. And then the Peddler board. I see a lot of people talk about this one because this is the solo version of the game. I'll probably do a video on the Peddler too, just for anyone interested, but I'm definitely doing one for each of the player characters. Then we have a nice assembly sheet. I think they said there's one thing, I want to say it's on the Chronomancer board. There was something they showed as two pieces that ended up being one piece. It was changed, but it's wrong in this, but only one side of that. The boats are probably going to be the most pain in the butt part, I think. And I've been told that if you're not careful when assembling the boats, when you fold certain parts, there's a risk of tearing along the seam, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I won't have any problems with that. Then we have our actual rule book. It's oversized, but it also has a lot of artwork, so we'll have to see. It's not that many pages. And a nice overview on the back. I like when games have cheat sheets on the back of the rule book. And then we can see some of our insert here. These trays, let's see, well this is our bags. They're hooked together here. One of these is where your Meeple are going to go that you're going to draw out to put in the boats. And the other one is for the Alchemist's marbles. They're kind of like a crushed velvet. I don't know if it's a, I'm assuming fake, but nice. The only thing with these material is they tend to draw lint. So you gotta be careful with them. They get dirty quick. We have some screen printed wooden tokens. See, these are money bags, are the points trackers, I believe. The little mice go on the clock, and the merchant is how you designate the different phases as you go around the clock. And then these ones with the hourglass are the player tokens. We have a giant bag of little plastic bases. These are what you're going to use to stand up your various goods. We have a bag of gemstones here. I see a lot of people not knowing what these are. The points track on the board only goes up to 100. So once you get to 100, you get one of these, and you go around the track again, and you get another one per 100 points. These black ones actually go on the Alchemist board. They cover up the different sponsorship icons, and you can remove them, obviously, to get those sponsorships. So we get on to our trays here. This one here is obviously for some of the boats. Once they're assembled, tokens go in here. Again, we have these, they're buried underneath here. Can't zoom out any further, can I? But there's the little sheets that show you what to put in what of the trays. So I'm not sure which one of these goes to which. But each of the characters from the base game has its own little tray. So you put all their components in there, and you can just hand somebody the tray when they go to play a specific character. Now I see a bunch more punch board here. Set those aside for now. And this, I saw a bunch of people mentioning this one, and we'll get to that. It actually has a purpose. Next layer down here, we have this nice insert for all the various cards, and from what I've heard, this will hold everything for the base game and the secret stash. We have deck of cards here. Always forget my knife when I'm doing an unboxing. So in here, it looks like these are the corruption cards. So yeah, we have a stack of the corruption cards here. And those are used whenever you do something that gains corruption, you get these. At the end of the game, you get negative bonuses based on the number of these symbols multiplied by the number of rogues that are in the rogues den. And then anything that has those, you get a bonus points back. So it's a trade-off. If, say, there's a bunch of wizards in the Wizards Guild and only 1 or 2 rogues in the Rogues Guild, it might be worth taking the negative points for the bonus there. Putting all kinds of stuff off screen here, but that's okay. Next we have the Peddlers Cards, and these are for the single player mode of the Peddler. And these actually go together, side by side, to tell you what the Peddler's going to do. You take these 2 middle rows. So it's kind of an interesting setup on that. I'll go over that more when I do the video for that character. And the last cards we have here are the Villager cards. There's a big variety of these. And when you hire them, they're going to be out on the board to hire. When you hire them, you're going to get these bonus extra things up here at the end of the game, as well as this effect when you first buy them. And there's a bunch of different ones in here, so that's interesting. And then we have our Meeple, which I'm probably going to end up putting these back in the bag where they go, so instead of in here. But they have all the different Meeples in different colors. You have the Nobles in yellow, the Rogues in gray. I think the Bards are green, Warriors in red. And who didn't I do? Oh, the Wizards in blue. And these are screen printed on. Nice looking. See how long that screen printing lasts. These get jostled around and handled quite a bit. Because you're going to have them in a bag and you're going to be drawing them. These guys go in the boats too. Ton of those. And then the last thing in this tray is the miniature box. Oh nope, there's more underneath the miniature, so I lied. We have our miniatures here. Which are in a shiny box so you can't see anything. They look pretty good actually. The boats I saw before I think were 3D printed from the demo. These ones are much nicer. To get 4 of these boats are your tokens for the captain. And there is our captain. I didn't know she had a tail. Oops. This is the Alchemist. A little bit of flash there where they had the mold. Nothing too bad though. A little bit smaller than I thought they'd be. This is the Chronomancer. And the Chronomancer's assistant. He actually gets 2 models. Shame about the bases though. Little marks in them. If somebody wanted to paint them, you're going to have to clean that mold line there up a little bit too. I doubt I'm actually going to paint mine. I never paint things, but for people who are interested in that. And then we have the Blacksmith. Generally in fantasy settings you associate the Blacksmith with being a dwarf, and he's the biggest one, so I don't know. Again, a little bit of flash there. Needs to be trimmed off. Nothing major though. A little mold line on the base. Not bad. Considering it's not actually a miniatures game. They're plenty well for player pawns. And then the last thing in this tray, I think, yeah, this time we're actually done. The last thing in that tray I believe these are the rogue cards. Let's see. Oh, there's a bunch of different things in here. These are the rogue cards. So, at the beginning of the game, you're going to draw one of these from, there's a deck, there's more in the secret stash, but these tell you how to set up the game. I think number 1 here is the one they suggest you start with. There's no special rules. And up here it tells you how many rogues to put in the bag and how many to put in the guild. And there's different special rules for the other ones. So these can change things up a bit. I thought there were more than that in the base set here, but I guess not. It only comes with 3. But there's definitely more in the secret stash. Oh, these ones are the hero cards. So each of the 4 playable characters, merchants, I guess I call them heroes, but they each have a card. And if you're playing where you want to randomize who gets what, you can shuffle these up and deal them out to each player. And that's how they know who they're going to be playing. Save someone who's got a favorite from picking it every time. That's totally up to you, though. Most people like to pick their favorite one and play, because once you learn a character, you kind of get used to playing them, and you can learn their tricks and get better at them. And then there's a card for the Dragon Island Festival. And some special rules for that. I thought that was a secret stash card, but I guess it's its own thing too. And we're going to move this out of the way and get to the last couple trays. Another character tray. Again, I don't know which character trays are which until I look through the little flyers there that say what's what. Got a bag of dice for the Blacksmith. These are just standard D6. They come in a variety of colors. The black ones are going to be used as coal for your furnaces. The other dice here are your alloys. And they come in the 4 different colors of the 4 different factions. 4 of these for the Blacksmith are going to be locked away. The other 4 you're going to get at the beginning of the game. Roll and use to create your items. The Blacksmith is a dice manipulation game. Then we have our marbles for the Alchemist. And sadly, these are plastic. I thought they were going to be glass from the pictures and prototype. They do have a cool bubble effect to them. There's bubbles actually inside, which are kind of neat, but these are going to be used in kind of a mini potion explosion type game with your Alchemist. And that's how they get their items to sell. Oh, I moved the wrong bag here. I'm going to pour those right there because they go in that bag anyway. And then our last box here, nothing in yet. I think that one's specifically the captain one because it comes with a spot for the spinner here. And that's the captain's gimmick as a spinner. I miss games with spinners. Well, that's it for the box. We still have all these punch boards that we took out. So this one, if I can get these out. I saw some people doing videos earlier that got theirs before me, and they weren't sure what to do with this. And this one's actually because when you stack these trays back up in the box, the one side ends up being slightly higher than the other, and this sits across the top. I don't know which 2 trays it is. I know this is one of them because you can put this in here, and that slot actually goes over your spinner so that your spinner doesn't get bent. And the other slots are for the staff boards here. These go in here. like this when you're going to pack things back up. So I know that much for it. I'm not sure what order the things go in, but I know that's what that's for. It's actually a spacer for repacking. So I see a bunch of people mention it and talk about it, and nobody actually apparently missed the update where they said what that was, but that's exactly what that is. So then we have all our punch boards. We got a lot of stuff in here. Thankfully, it's not as crinkly of paper. So our first punch board here, we've got some goods. This looks like part of the Alchemist's decanter where the marbles go in. I think that's actually all that is. This is, I think, for the Chronomancer, his display table. The next one here, we've got a bunch of the Alchemist's potions. Actually, I think that's all the Alchemist potions, and 3 of our boats. We'll have to see how easy these are to put together, but the cool thing about the boats is that every one of them is different, which I thought was pretty cool. Even the extra ones that come in the secret stash are completely different, so that's kind of a neat feature. And we got some more goods. These are the Blacksmith large items. These chests here are actually the captain's large items. Not sure whose that is. This looks like the captain's cell board. And these treasure chests on one side have a chest. On the other side have what items they are, because they're actually hidden until the captain discovers them. Next board, we have a couple more boats. We've got, I'm not sure what these icons are for. Oh, for when you're playing with lower player counts, you can, depending on the player count, you can make some of the icons on the map that allow you to draw meeples and put them in the boats. You can either make them 2 or 0. Those are the Chronomancer's tokens. These are Mortal Kombat tokens. Oh, I mean, these are the cursed coins for the captain. They are Mortal Kombat logos, though. And then we got the different house faction banners here. These are actually used to differentiate who's playing which color, because you're color coded on your tokens. So you put these banners in front of you so you can keep track of that. Those are kind of neat. And our last board here has more goods. These look like the artifacts for the Chronomancer. There's some more armor and stuff up here for the Blacksmith. And then these are the portal tokens for the Chronomancer. He plays very interesting. He's completely different than the other characters. I will say, I don't know if it was changed at one point, but I thought these tokens, at least in the prototype, I thought they were actually like hourglass shaped, and these circles were cut out of them, but they're not now. So I don't know if that changed at one point, but anyway, that is a look at everything that comes in the Merchant's Cove main box, which is a lot of junk. And we're going to try to throw it all back in here and go on to the next box. The next one we're going to look at here is the Secret Stash. And this is a much smaller box. This one contains basically a bunch of optional modules to make the game have more variety. Stuff you can add after your first couple plays when you want new options and features. Doesn't want to open. So right on top we have instructions on how to assemble the new ships. We have the Secret Stash book here, which goes through all of the new rogue cards that are in here. So new setups and things for that. There's new townsfolk cards, new sets of those, and rules for that. New type of good, which goes with one of the new rogue cards, I think. The new boats, which have all sorts of new changes they can do. Halls of Plenty, which are bonuses given to people who have the most influence over different halls. the lairability, which is kind of a negative thing. New boat setups, so you can use the new boats. Some more Dragon Island Festival cards. I don't know if... See, that was in the base set, so I don't know if that's the same or a different one of those. And then talks about the solo scenario in the back. And then possible spoilers here. You can skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to see, but there's a hidden message here on the back. It is in code, so you have to figure that one out yourself. Onto the box itself here, we've got the solo scenario books. And you can see here there's a bunch of different scenarios in there. It's actually quite a thick book with all different types of solo setups. I haven't actually tried any of these. I can't wait to get in and start messing around with those. Then it looks like we have some punch boards. I can get them out. This first punch board, you can see there's our evil lair, and it's 5 times multiplier on one side, 2 times on the back. We have another boat here. These are the rogue goods for use with the one card. It might be more than one, I'm not sure. And then these are for the Halls of Plenty. Whoever has the highest, if you're playing with this, whoever has the highest influence over, in this case, the Bards Guild, would gain this token. They get an extra 2 symbols. If 2 people are tied, you flip it over and you get a bonus 1. They have those for all the guilds. And then, of course, there's another boat on here. I don't know if I can punch that out easily. I haven't tried actually punching out a boat yet. These don't come out pretty easy. I have no idea how to put the boats together, so that's something for later. Our next token sheet here is, looks like more boat parts and then more rogue goods. And the last one is, I'm not sure what this place is. Oh, it's the flip side of the, I don't know if that's something special on the back there or not, but it's the flip side of the Dragon Island Festival. And then the other guild halls. And then down inside the box here, we have the faction leaders. These are used for one of the optional special rules. There's one for each of the different factions. We have another punch board of rogue goods. We have another bunch of the rogue cards. That's what I was saying. There's only 3 in the original set, but there's plenty more in here. Feels like they could have put a couple of these in the base game and not so many in here, but I don't think a lot of people are going to buy Merchant's Cove without buying the Secret Stash, so you might not buy the extra characters, but the Secret Stash is definitely worth it. Thankfully, you can get this not through the Kickstarter, so it's not like an exclusive. And then we have these boat cards. And if you're using the optional new boats, because there's basically these new boats have, I don't know if you can tell on there, but there's a 5-seater. And then one of them's a 2-seater. I think there's 2 5-seaters and a 1-seater. And they, or 2-seater, I mean. And they give you a new optional setups for where the boats are lined up to start with. The little 2-boat there goes in the middle. I can find another one with it. And it can actually go to either side. Whereas normally these 3 boats go this side, these 3 go to this side. The little one can go to either side. Kind of interesting, but yeah, these allow you to vary up your setup. I have another pack of cards here. And this looks like the villagers. There's a bunch of new villagers with new iconography on them. There's a couple new ones that weren't in the other basic set, like these guys. And the special rules for them are in the book there. So lots of new villagers. I don't think you need to use all of them. It might water down the experience a little, but definitely you can mix and match how you want to use them. It's all up to you. Again, all this stuff is optional, so it's kind of neat. Then we've got new corruption cards. And these have some different things. These actually have the ability, I think they all do. These ones are special in that you can discard a good from your supply or from your sale board to your back to your supply in order to remove these corruption cards, and they all have different goods you can discard to remove them. So again, these can be mixed in with the normal corruption cards. And then I'll admit, these last ones I'm not familiar with. I don't know what they are. I think there's something for the Peddler. And they have these little charts on here. I am not sure what they are, so those I will have to look up. Finally found something I'm not familiar with in the set, but I'm sure they're mentioned somewhere. Are they on the box? But yeah, I'm not sure what those are, but I think they have something to do with the Peddler. But that's everything that's in the secret stash. Or is it? You might want to skip ahead. I'll put a time down in the caption here somewhere. Because for those of you who don't know, the secret that's on the back of the book can be translated, and it gives you a, I don't know the exact message it translates to, but it tells you to check out the box, basically. And underneath, there's a whole bunch more stuff. And again, spoilers, skip ahead to the time if you don't want to see. But down here on the bottom of the box, we have a new rogue card, specifically for the other stuff that's going to be mentioned here. We have a new character card to be shuffled into your character deck for a new playable character. We're going to cover that up for the people who skipped ahead. Come on. We have this cool looking card. I don't know what side's up on it, but this is a tracker. I think I had to write that up the first time. But you're going to be using this to track intelligence for this character. There's also a barcode that you can scan to get the actual rulebook for this character, because it doesn't come with a rulebook, which is kind of funny. And then on the bottom of the box here, they have printed, which is kind of a shame. I wish it wasn't printed on the box. Could have been a small piece of punch board the same size as the box and on there, but we have a new playable character. And it's the Thief. And like I said, these components, this will actually, if I can hold it so you can scan it if you want. We'll get you to the rule book if you wanted to see it. And these other cards go with that. We're going to put them back in there just so when somebody watches the video up to this point, they're not going to get spoiled. So there we go. That is a look at everything that came in the secret stash. And for those of you that skipped ahead, you'll find out the extras when you find them. But we're going to throw all this back in here, and we're going to go on to... So first up on the playable character expansions, we have the Innkeeper. And these are giant boxes for what's actually in there, but they fit with the same size box on the shelf, so if you're stacking them on the shelf, I think that was the intention. But this time around, we have the Innkeeper. I'm going to go through these pretty quick because this is already a long video. But you have your Innkeeper rulebook, just like the others, 2 pages on the inside plus the back to explain to you the special rules for playing the Innkeeper. He's probably the most unique of the characters, just based on his interactions are slightly different than the others. And we have the assembly guide for his 3D components. See here we have a giant bar table. This is going to be your display. You have beds that need to get assembled, and then you have drinks as your small items. There's our player board. He's got these 3 bedrooms at the top and the bar brawl in the middle. I do like the artwork on the back. It shows up better on the camera. It's really faded when you look at it in person. Maybe it's the lighting, but it's kind of cool. Underneath here, we've got extra meeples, one of each. Seems kind of funny there's only one of each, but they add more because the way his game works is you're actually taking meeples out of the game and putting them on this board. So the next round, there's going to be less meeples in the bag because they're in here. So this kind of mitigates that a little. You would have think they would have given like 2 or 3 of each though, but extras aren't bad. We got our bases to put our goods on. We have our staff board and our player card for picking classes. And then this should be the miniature. They packaged them really good. There we go. There's our Dwarven Innkeeper miniature. And again, some mold lines on the base, but nothing major. The detail on these is pretty good. It's not, you know, tabletop war game type miniature quality, but it's good enough for player pawn quality. I do have a little bit of missing plastic there on the arm. Don't know what happened there, but and that's everything that's in the, and they're all off the screen, I see. That's everything from the Innkeeper expansion. Again, I'll be putting out a video of these, going over in depth actually how to play the character and showing you the ins and outs, but that's going to come later. This is just an unboxing. Next we have the Dragon Rancher, and this was actually an add-on character that came out later. It wasn't the original planned ones. There was only the Innkeeper and the Oracle. And this one came out pretty cool, and I'm really interested to see how it plays. It's got some interesting little mechanics. But inside here, we have the same basics here. Right on the top, we have our Dragon Rancher rulebook. They have a little thing about the character too, but then on the inside you have your rules for playing, and on the back too. I think this is more of a summary on the back, but we have a chart showing you how to assemble the sail shelf, which is just a little pen for the dragons. That's upside down. We have our Dragon Rancher board, and this actually has trees that are tokens that go on there, and you cut them down to get the bonuses, and the pile of poop in the middle that you have to clean up after. Then we have our punch board. That's your pen. You get the fences to go around it. There's those trees, and there's the piles of poop. I love the little swirl on the top there. Looks like an Ubisoft logo. And then our actual things that you manufacture here are dragons. They start off as these little babies, and then they grow up into bigger dragons. I don't know if you can see it on the punch board. I wouldn't even have minded, but yeah, you can see here. You know, this dragon is nice and centered. This one here is off-centered. And because this one's off-centered, it bothered the developer enough that they actually made... Oh, where is it? I know it's in the box. I saw it. They actually gave you a replacement token that is fixed. So they made new ones to replace the poorly cut one on there. So you need to throw away that extra one. You're not supposed to have 3 of them, but just know that one of those is off-centered. You might not notice it, but the people who made the game did, and it bothered them. The rest of our box here, we have the mega creatures, and these are like full-grown dragons. And it's a item type that the other merchants don't have. You have your small dragons, you have your large dragons. These are megas, and these can only be sold at the black market dock, but they always give you corruption because of that, so keep that in mind. But they also sell for a lot. Then we have our food pellets, which are little screen printed wooden tokens with meat on them. I don't know if the white ones seem to be washed out a bit. Maybe that was intentional. I'm not sure because they're kind of grayed out. Almost looks like their printer was running out of ink, but you need to feed the correct colors to the correct dragons to get them to grow. So those are cool. I'm very curious to see how the Dragon Rancher actually plays out. Then we have our bases for our goods, so you can get the dragons to stand up in their pen. We have another crushed velvet bag there to put the food tokens in. We have our staff board. We have our character card. And then our model. I love the model here. Just holding an egg. A shovel in the other hand. Came out better than most. I think there's still just a little bit of flash on there, but not too bad. I think the shovel was actually supposed to be in that indentation. I don't know if it's bent. There's like a little indentation there in the base. I think the shovel is supposed to be in that. To see if I can't adjust that, if it's worth bothering with. But that's a look at everything from the Dragon Rancher, and I keep putting everything off camera, and I apologize for that. But again, adds a new playable character to your game, and I will be doing a video for the Dragon Rancher coming soon. And our last character for Merchant's Cove is the Oracle, and a lot of people thought that was the Oracle, and I think that's just the person she's looking at in the crystal ball here. But this is a roll and write character. It's a little bit different than all the others in there, and you can tell right away when you open it. First thing is the book, which is actually, I think, yeah, a page longer than everybody else's book. Everybody else's book is that, plus the back. This one has an extra 2 pages. So, a little bit more to learn with this character. Can do some very interesting things, though. We have our assembly instructions. You have a little table for displaying your items, as well as the dish for doing your divining. And this is where things become evident that it's different. While all the other boards had like a linen finish, this one has a very different finish. And you can tell just by looking at it that it's a dry erase board. It's also extremely reflective, so you can see me and the camera on there. Hi. And very hard to see the image, unfortunately. I love the pictures of the village. But her board is definitely unique and has less options for movement places than everybody else's board. But you can do more things at some of them, so... Very interesting character, and I can't wait to do the video on how to play her. We have our punch board here. We have these large items look like amulets or charms. And, well, I guess so do the smaller items. So you got these big things here, these small charms. There's our table. And this is all part of the dish. I think that might be the base to the table. I'm not sure how it sets up. It might be the center of the base, actually. The center of this. I believe. I don't know. We do have a dry erase marker in there. I don't even know how this opens. There we go. So I don't know how good that is or how long it's going to last, but dry erase markers are easy to find. Eraser on the end. You can always just use a paper towel too. Or your finger. I know a lot of people do that. And we have our staff board. You have the voodoo doll and bone for your charms that you're going to be rolling. You have 2d4, also for part of the charms that you'll be rolling. The other two charms are actually on here. Oh, there's only one on here. There is the coin there, has a tree on one side and the skull on the other. And this, I'm going to punch that out actually so you can see it better. This is another one that has the problem where it's off-centered. And it might not matter to some people. To the tree looks okay, it's just the skull that's off-center. But to the people who made the game, they were annoyed by that. So they gave you an additional token here with it corrected. So you don't get to keep both, you only use the one. But make sure you keep the good one, not the screwed up one. The screwed up one's the one on the punch board. Then we have our character card. You can see how beautiful the Oracle is there. We have our bag of bases for our goods, and then the character model. And she has a terrible, terrible mold line all the way up across her arms. The base is pretty bad too. This is really a bad model. I mean, not the figure itself, but just the molding of this one. See another mold line there. Gonna have to do a bit of cleanup on that one. But that's everything that comes in the Oracle expansion. Again, as with the other characters, I'll be doing a video specifically for her and how to play her coming up. And that is all the stuff that came for Merchant's Cove, the base game, the Secret Stash, the Oracle, the Dragon Rancher, and the Innkeeper. The only thing that you missed out on if you didn't do the Kickstarter was a small pack of rogue cards that added, I want to say there's 4 or 5 new rogue cards in there, and then a bunch of blanks. So it's nothing major. If you get the Secret Stash, you have a whole stack of rogue cards. So it's nothing you need to worry about. So don't think you're missing out if you didn't get the Kickstarter. All of this is available. The biggest thing is the Secret Stash, and because it adds so much to the base game. The other playable characters, of course, are personal preference. If you want more characters to choose from or play between, then they're available. But there's 4 in the base game as well. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for our unboxing of everything Merchant's Cove. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a lot of stuff here, and I can't wait to get into it in more depth. And stay tuned for a full review of the base game, as well as the how to use each of the different characters, as well as the 4 main characters in here. So that's 7 characters we'll be doing videos for, and the base game itself. So stay tuned for those. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.